2025, a year marked not by peace, but by one of the most volatile escalations in modern Middle Eastern history. Israel and Iran, two nations divided by religion, politics, and ideology, now face off directly, not just in words, but in warheads. What began as a Cold War of threats has erupted into something far more dangerous. To understand how we got here, we must go back. In 1979, Iran's Islamic Revolution reshaped the region. The new theocratic regime denounced the West and cut ties with Israel, labeling it an illegitimate state. Over the decades, Iran funded militant groups like Hezbollah and Hamas, groups sworn to Israel's destruction. In response, Israel launched covert operations, cyber attacks, and diplomatic campaigns to contain Iran's influence. The two never fought directly, but their proxy wars spanned Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, and Gaza. But the flashpoint has always been nuclear. Iran insists its uranium program is for peaceful energy. Israel, and much of the West, believes otherwise. The 2015 nuclear deal, JCPOA, gave hope for diplomacy. But when the US pulled out in 2018, and Iran resumed enrichment, the situation began to unravel. By 2025, intelligence suggested Iran had stockpiled enough fissile material to build multiple nuclear bombs. Israel, remembering the Holocaust and sworn never to let history repeat, viewed this as a red line. In March 2025, that line was crossed. Israeli warplanes, using US-supplied F-35s, launched a surprise strike on Iran's Fordow nuclear facility. The operation was surgical, but deadly. Dozens of Iranian scientists were killed. The facility, buried under a mountain, was reduced to rubble. Iran's response was swift. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps fired over 200 ballistic and cruise missiles toward Israeli cities including Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Be'er Sheva. Israel's Iron Dome intercepted many, but not all. Civilian casualties mounted. Hospitals overflowed. The world held its breath. The fallout wasn't confined to Iran and Israel. Oil prices surged past $150 per barrel. Global markets shook. The United States, caught between its alliance with Israel and a desire to avoid regional war, called for restraint. The United Nations convened an emergency session, while the Arab League condemned Israel's aggression and Iran's retaliation. In Istanbul, President Erdogan hosted an extraordinary OIC Summit. Muslim leaders called for de-escalation, but also accused the West of double standards. The Islamic world began to unite diplomatically, if not militarily. Beyond governments and generals are people, terrified, tired, and trapped. In Iran, families mourned scientists labeled national heroes. In Israel, parents wept at funerals of children killed by falling missiles. On both sides, some called for revenge, others begged for peace. Optional text overlay for visuals. I just want my son to be safe. A father in Haifa. We are not enemies. We are humans. A woman in Tehran. Now, the world stands at a fork in the road. One path leads to a wider war, pulling in Hezbollah, Hamas, the Gulf states, maybe even the US and Russia. The other? An uneasy peace, brokered through diplomacy, pressure, and sacrifice. Already, back-channel talks are reportedly underway in Oman and Qatar. Turkey and China have offered to mediate. The stakes? Nothing less than regional survival. The Israel-Iran conflict is far from over. But behind the noise of bombs and speeches lies another possibility, that reason prevails, and humanity rises above hatred. Peace is not a weakness. It is the strongest choice two enemies can make.